welcome to SF Live. I'm your host, Christina Marie Flores. Nice to have you with us this evening. Today I'm very happy to have President of the Board of Supervisors, David Chiu. Welcome, David.
Well, thank you.
Very good. President and new supervisor as well.
That is correct.
Yes. Well, we're going to get to know our supervisor here a little bit better. I want to start up with where you grew up. You were born in Boston?
I actually was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
but
really?
My
Okay.
parents moved when I was a toddler and moved my family to Boston, where I lived for almost 25 years.
Wow. And what was it like when you grew up in Boston there at that age as a kid?
Well, my parents are immigrants. They immigrated from Taiwan, and I was the first kid in the family born in the States. And growing up in Boston, we were the only Chinese family in the neighborhood I grew up in. My parents were really focused on making sure that their kids got a good education as part of the reason why they moved to the United States. And they just made sure that my brothers and I didn't get into trouble and studied to get our homework done.
And how were you? Were you good kids? Did you get into trouble?
We were pretty good kids. Every
Okay.
once in a while, we'd play pranks on each other, but by and large, I think we were pretty good kids. I think that's what my mom would say.
So if I called her right now, she'd say, yes, he was a wonderful kid.
You know, it's funny. She'll tell her stories, but I think by and large, she would say I was a good kid.
Okay. So were your parents into politics? I mean, did you discuss politics around the dinner table or?
Not at all. In fact,
Really?
I think my parents were about as apolitical as anyone could be. A lot of immigrants from Asia often are fleeing governments that haven't worked particularly well, or leaving governments, or leaving countries where government hasn't been particularly functional. And my parents, when they moved here, it was never a topic at the dinner table, never anything that we talked about. So it was a bit of a surprise when, about a year and a half ago, I told them that I was thinking about running for office.
How did they take it?
It was a little mixed. It was not something that I think they were immediately excited about, but they came to see that it was something that I was really committed to wanting to do, and were extremely supportive during a lot of the campaign.
Well, and that he did, because you and your siblings went to Harvard University. You received a degree in government from Harvard College, a Juris Doctor from Harvard Law School, and a master's degree in public policy from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. I can hardly even say all that. I'm exhausted just saying that. So you really went into this. What prompted you to get into government? What is your...
You know, when I went to college, again, I didn't have any thoughts that I would get involved in government or public policy. But when I was in school, I learned a bit about the civil rights movement and about the impact of government on improving the quality of life for a lot of ethnic minorities in the United States, and what that history was all about. And I started taking courses in political science and public policy, and was fascinated by the opportunity that government had and the public sector had to really impact and improve the quality of life for people. And so I actually, in college, I switched majors from being a biochemistry major to being a political science major, and then got a degree in public policy as well as my law degree.
Are your brothers in that as well?
They're not at all.
Oh, okay, where did they go?
My middle brother is an acupuncturist.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. That'll be helpful after sitting on the board for hours
Yes,
and hours.
actually, it was funny. After last week's 7.5-hour board meeting, he told me that if he was around, he would have given me some needles to help me with my back during that meeting.
That would be good.
Yeah, but and my youngest brother works for an international relief organization.
Wonderful. I bet they're proud of you. Your parents as well?
My parents, they're proud of what has happened, yes.
Very good. So how did you get to San Francisco? When did you move to San Francisco?
When I was in school, I actually visited San Francisco for the very first time. In fact, coincidentally, I happened to visit my district, which District 3 contains many of the neighborhoods in San Francisco that tourists come and visit. So,
can you tell us what neighborhoods those are in case someone's not familiar with District 3?
Absolutely. District 3 contains, it's the northeast part of the city. It includes Fisherman's Wharf, Union Square, Chinatown, North Beach, our famous hills, so Russian Hill, Telegraph, and Nob Hill, and the financial district, as well as the neighborhood I happen to live in now, Polk Street. And I happen to think that they are really the most amazing neighborhoods in the most amazing city of the world.
Diverse, too.
Very,
yeah.
very diverse. And when I was in school, I came out and visited a lot of these areas, and I thought, someday I need to come live here. And so after I graduated from school, I spent a little time in Washington, D.C., and moved out here a little over a dozen years ago.
Really? Okay. And so that at that time, .com had come yet? Was that?
.com had not yet come.
It was coming though.
It was
like
coming.
a freight train.
Yeah, it was. I moved out. I initially was working as a criminal prosecutor, then spent some time as a civil rights attorney, and then during the .com heyday, actually started a technology company that I ran for about 8 years.
Wow.
In my district.
So you worked at the DA's office
I did,
as well?
yes.
How was that?
It was fascinating. Being a prosecutor doing criminal law is about as close to the excitement of television law as you can imagine. In other words, sort of all the incredible things that you imagine happening in courtrooms and happening behind the scenes as you prepare for cases. It was a fascinating job, and certainly having an opportunity to work on public safety issues and really make sure that justice would be done when it came to certain cases was really important to me.
Very good. And when did you decide you were going to run for supervisor?
I made a final decision probably close to the end of 2007. So I started running pretty soon after that, about a year before Election Day.
Really? And did you look around and say, you know what, this needs to be done, this needs to be, I could do that. I should run? Is that what the mindset
I think
is?
like most candidates, there are many things that I saw in my district and citywide that I really wanted to work on as a public official, as an elected official. Right now we have the highest homicide rate in over a decade, and the former prosecutor and me really wanted to roll up my sleeves and get involved in thinking about that. We have a locally stalled economy. And as someone who started a business, I think there are many things our city can do to make life easier for businesses, particularly those who start smaller businesses. I chaired a neighborhood association and worked on a lot of basic quality of life neighborhood issues, trying to clean our streets, fight graffiti, consider appropriate development. And these are all things that I was interested in working on and plan to work on as a supervisor.
I have a list here. Chair of the Lower Polk Neighborhoods and founding member of the leadership team of the Middle Polk Neighborhood Association, former staff attorney with the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights, former assistant district attorney with the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, founder of Grassroots Enterprise, a leading online communication technology company, and the Small Business Commission. You just were in. Did you ever have any doubt that you would win? I mean, with your background?
Absolutely.
Really?
Well, in my race, I think last year we had the strongest field of candidates running for supervisor in District 3. I actually think that many of my fellow candidates likely might have been able to win in other districts if they had run. District 3 is a special place. We have a lot of neighborhood associations and merchant associations and networks of community leaders that really want to make our neighborhoods better. And so, yeah, I absolutely it was not at all a foregone conclusion who was going to win in that race.
Now, District 3, like we were talking about, covers Chinatown, Nob Hill, North Beach, many of the destination spots for tourists.
Yes.
And I see all these. Is this something that is very important to make sure we maintain those spots and keep them beautiful? There's such history in your area. Your district holds such history of San Francisco. And people they come there, first in San Francisco. So what are the concerns of your neighborhood being supervisor of those areas?
Well, you're absolutely right that really the history of our city started and continues to this day to live in those neighborhoods. They're very, very special. And I think those of us who live in those neighborhoods understand how important it is to make sure that the neighborhoods are vibrant, but make sure that we continue to preserve the history of the neighborhoods, whether it be the architecture of Chinatown, whether it be the look and feel of North Beach, whether it be how we have laid out our Fisherman's Wharf. It's important for me to work with my neighbors to make sure that as we change, we also continue to reflect that history.